Welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We are here tonight for the cutoff race for the round of 12, the Folds of Honor Fight to Survive 90 here from the Richmond Raceway with the ARCA Evolution Series. Here tonight live on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Let's give a special shout out to all the sponsors who helped make it happen here at the Evolution Racing League. First we have Or Nissan Central, the leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. You can go check out their website at www.ornissancentral.com. Sheffield Graphics. They're the leading designer in sim racing paint schemes and liveries. It was founded by a Navy veteran, and a portion of every paint goes to the Military Foundation Folds of Honor. It's a great non-profit organization who gives sponsorship to the families of fallen soldiers and disabled veterans. Make sure to go check them out on Facebook under Sheffield Graphics. Next, we need to give a shout to ButtKicker. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from the subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10 powered race car, from ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. By moving a physical mass instead of only air, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful base response, and it's all perfectly in sync with every game with no additional software required. So make sure you go to ButtKicker.com and use FreakyFast20 to get 20% off of any purchase there at ButtKicker.com, and you can feel what you've been missing. And remember, FreakyFast20, and that is Freaky with 2 E's. So make sure you go check them out and get yourself a Gamer 2. Next, we want to give a shout out to McConey Setup Shop. The McConey Setup Shop is your home for iRacing setups and the official setup shop of the Richmond Raceway esports team, fielding the drivers in the Coca-Cola iRacing esports series of Jimmy Mullis and Zach Novak. With everything from legends to cup cars, we've got you covered. Dirt setups for late models, modifieds, and wing sprints are also available as well. You can get coaching from professional drivers such as the Coca-Cola iRacing series champion Zach Novak, his teammate Jimmy Mullis, River Hayes, and many more also available. And remember, at the McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but they're your victories. So you can head over to www.mcconeysetupshop.com, where you can use promo code FFB10 to get 10% off of any setup purchase there at McConey's Setup Shop. Remember, FFB10 to get 10% off at McConey's Setup Shop, where there are setups, but they're your victories. Thank you to all the sponsors here tonight at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and the Evolution Racing Leagues. As we head now down to the racetrack, I am Zach Hall calling the action here tonight. Alongside me will be Brandon Colley, and we'll have Robert Moyer Jr. up in the production box. Brandon, welcome joining me here tonight, man. How are we feeling about this Richmond race as it's the cutoff for the round of 12? 8 drivers coming out of here with a chance for a championship.
Well, you come to a short track for your cutoff race, and some of these guys, I mean, they're feeling the pressure. You look down the standings here, you've got Richard Gonzalez, Steven Racing, Anthony Gaudio, and Jeff Carson sitting on the outside looking in right now. And Richard Gonzalez is only 6 points back from that 8th spot held by Justin Hendry. But just ahead of him, of Hendry, James Wright, only 2 points above Hendry, so that's still really close. And even more so, just up there in the 6th position. Another point separating Matt Upbrook from James Wright, and then 2 to Justin Hendry. So a lot of guys feeling the pressure, but Anthony Gaudio and Jeff Carson, I think, have to be feeling the most pressure. Looking at the field size and how many points back they are, they've almost got a bank on getting a win here tonight to advance themselves into the round of 8 for next week. So we're going to be looking at the 3 and the 9 to see if they can charge their way to the front here, maybe get a good qualifying effort, and hopefully stay out of trouble.
Yeah, and we will not be seeing Jeff Carson out there on the track tonight, as he was not able to make it here. Will not be able to make it for the rest of the season. So Carson going to miss out on the next round in that 9 machine. But man, as we head off here into qualifying, Brandon, it's going to be very important for track position here tonight. Richmond only 80 laps here, so really going to have to get the most out of it. 65% fuel load, and we have 3 sets of tires, so 2 in the pits. I would think you want to qualify up front. Yes, the field size, 17 cars on a short track, that's still a lot of work to do if you start back there. So I think starting up front is going to be a critical part of this race, and staying up front to stay out of the mess.
Well, it's one thing to put down a decent qualifying lap when you're by yourself, but this just threw a whole other wrench into it. It seems that they've got it set for group qualifying here, so everybody going out at the exact same time to turn their qualifying laps. Now you've got to deal with traffic and dirty air trying to put down that quick lap too. This is definitely going to make it more difficult, but like you said, even with only 17 cars, track position has a premium here. It's very difficult to pass, especially if you've got a bunch of guys that know how to maneuver these short tracks and are really good at them. Even with older tires, I mean, especially with older tires, trying to get that run off the corner that you need to set up the entry to the next to get the position to take that lane away on the inside, which is normally the preferred lane at the short track, it's going to be harder. So you want to get that track position early, qualifying your best shot to do it. Ideally top 5, but if you can get on the pole and stay there the whole race, I mean, that's exactly what you want to do. But look at these guys out here qualifying now. Track's looking pretty slick. It's going to be hard for guys to put down a solid qualifying lap with all this traffic, especially.
Lots of traffic. That's going to be very difficult to get an open, clean lap, and that's what you're looking for here at Richmond, a clean space to get your lap in. And guys are definitely looking for at the moment right now. Christopher Smerroll with the fastest time by a good margin over Matt Upbrook. Let's see if anybody else can put something down quicker. It looks like Smerroll even goes quicker on that lap, so he picks up the pace a little bit more. So does Upbrook on that next lap. So we're seeing times falling down as we continue on. But you guys still looking to find a good clean lap here on open track.
Well, the good news is with open qualifying, you can put down as many laps as you need to try to get that quick time. Go out there, put down 2, take a reset, and get fresh tires, come out and try to burn off another 2 and improve just a little bit. But it's offset again by the traffic, trying to find a nice spot in line and merge in with traffic where you're not going to have to worry about somebody that might be running slower than you and cost you a little bit of time. And now seeing on the board Anthony Gaudio up to 2nd, talked about him needing a win tonight to advance to the next round. Great track position for himself. Sure, he would love to get 1 spot better, but you can't complain too much about 2nd.
No, you definitely can't complain about 2nd, my friend. That'll be a good starting spot for him. One driver I worry about, who's had a interesting, wow, we're seeing a lot of action out here is Steve Racing there, and the 2 getting into the wall. One driver I somewhat worry about, even though he's jumped up to 2nd on the board right now behind his teammate Chris Smerroll, is Justin Malarkey. Think about the series of events this guy's went through. Almost winning Bristol. You know, being in position to do it, gets caught up in a wreck on the last lap, giving David Edwards that victory after winning at Chicagoland in the first round to lock himself in. Almost does it in the first round of this round. Unfortunately, gets in that wreck, gets pushed all the way back, and then last week at Kansas, he was unable to get the strategy right and had a very terrible finish due to strategy woes. So he has had a terrible round of 12. If he can squeak through here, even though he is still somewhat close, I mean, he's over the 10-point margin. But man, if one of those guys wins, that's where it gets very scary for Justin Malarkey. He's got to have a good run here tonight.
Yeah, if you're Malarkey, you just got to be thinking about consistency. It'd be nice to win, but you definitely don't want to have what happened at Bristol happen here tonight. And considering what happened to him at Bristol, taking away that win that was going to lock him in, I mean, he's still sitting 5th in points right now, still well within the cutoff. But the man that caused that wreck, that cost him that victory, Gaudio, cost himself not only a good finishing position, but a lot of points. And considering he was not here last week, had that not happened and he would have settled for second and rode behind Malarkey there, he could have been sitting in a lot better points position and could have worried about just pointing his way in and not having to worry about getting a win here tonight. So, I mean, the ramifications of something that happens 2 weeks ago finally starting to roll back around. And it just shows every single race counts. Every single position counts. And you can't afford to have one bad race.
Oh, man, and what a time there. Malarkey had took the top spot while we were talking about him. Then we started talking about Gaudio. He goes and puts down the best time by far all night. That is a burner of a lap. Almost 2/10 between him and the rest of the field. Schmerol jumps up to second there in the closing seconds of this open qualifying session. So it looks like Anthony Gaudio going to look to be your Sheffield Graphics pole setter unless someone can put down a quicker time. Do not believe as multiple drivers crossing the line backwards there, as it looks like it'll bring the end to our qualifying session. Gaudio in a must-win position. He's done what he needs to do here in qualifying, puts himself on pole. Brought to you by Sheffield Graphics. What a lap from him.
Absolutely. It's going to be a burner here. I'm excited to get this one underway.
It will be a fun night indeed here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Let's go ahead and bring our grid up here tonight as we let the drivers grid up here on the front straightaway of the Richmond Raceway. Starting from that pole position, brought to you by Sheffield Graphics, is the 3 of Anthony Gaudio. The 2 in the second position is going to be Christopher Schmerol. Third is going to be Justin Malarkey. Fourth is going to be David Edwards. Fifth place going to Matt Upbrook. Sixth is going to be Harold Rothery. Seventh is going to be Stephen Carey. Eighth is going to be James Wright. Ninth is going to be Matthew Dude. And rounding out your top 10 is going to be Richard Gonzalez.
Justin Hendry in the 28th and 11th position. Brian Fine, 12th. Jake O'Shea in the 77th, 13th position. Stephen Rasick, one of our playoff drivers, fighting to make his way in 14th position. Steve Potter, 15th. And Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. rounding out your field in the 16th position.
And that is your starting grid here tonight for the ARCA Evolution Series. Let's go ahead and bring up from JCR Racing, Anthony Gaudio, as he is your Sheffield Graphics pole setter here tonight.
Hey, Anthony, it's Brandon up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, congratulations on getting this pole position here at Richmond. We know how important track position is, but especially for you, you've got to be feeling like you're in a must-win position if you want to advance to the round of 8. How do you feel your chances are?
Full send mode right now, man. I fortunately got emergency work last week. I missed the race the worst time, and I got some making up to do for it tonight, and that's it. I'm not going to be nice tonight.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, man. You got the right scheme and the right number to pull that off, but we know how fast you are and how fast you've been all season, and I definitely think it's well within the realm of possibility that you'd be able to hang on and maybe steal this win away here and lock yourself into the round of 8. But now I got to ask you about how the car is feeling on the track. You know, what's the balance like for you guys out there?
Real loose, and it's real tight. All how you approach each corner, honestly. It's got to respect the throttle, got to respect the brakes. It's pretty much how it is, but it feels good. Got to respect it.
Well, we know you guys have the reduced fuel load here. Is fuel going to be a concern whatsoever, or is it more going to be putting fuel in it during pit stops to try to help the balance out?
I don't think so much fuel is going to be the issue. Tires is being pretty much it, depending on cautions, and we get some green flag laps in. But yeah, hit, man.
All right, let you get back down there, man, and get this thing underway. Wish you the best of luck. We'll be watching from up here.
Appreciate it. Enjoy.
All right, that was your Sheffield Graphics pole setter of Anthony Gaudio. As we will do one more pace lap around here at the Richmond Raceway. As man, what a time he put down. You know, if I'm Smirol, if I'm Malarkey, especially, Malarkey at the incident in Bristol with Gaudio, you brought that up, Brandon. Drivers don't forget that, and if there's a driver they could get out of the next round, if it's the 3's name on that list, he's got to be almost at the top of that list of a driver you don't want to see move on because he's a major threat.
Well, you've also got to remember that, I mean, what you can do to him, he can also do to you. And knowing the position he's in, he's going to be a lot more aggressive than you guys that are already well in with points. If he decides to dump you, especially if you're Malarkey or Smirol, I mean, they're not too far away from each other in points. They could have a bad day and find themselves on the outside.
Well, we'll see what type of day they have here at the Richmond Raceway. Pace car is in. The green flag is out as we head down the front straightaway. We're going to restart. Gaudio going to have a slight nose ahead, but Smirol going to use that top lane. Looks very well as Gaudio clears here off of 2. Smirol looking to defend that second position. Looks like he'll clear teammate Justin Malarkey as they head down to 3.
And David Edwards rolling the outside of 3 and 4 here exceptionally well. Able to just a little scuff on the wall there across the stripe, but still holding steady with Malarkey on his inside. And that's something we're going to see guys doing, especially later on in the run here, searching for grip once tires get worn. You can make the outside work. It's just how you approach the corner. And David Edwards now making that pass for 3rd position, making it work early.
Very impressive move to work that outside line work like you brought up there, Brandon, as Harold Rother into 4. Looks like he's got past Matt Uprook to slide himself up the 5th also. So good run for him. Teammates to Anthony Gaudio there up front. So the JCR 2 companions there are running very well to start this race.
Well, looking through the field here, Zach, I've noticed that the Donkey Punch guys are all running Top Gun schemes. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I'm a bit nervous. Richard Gonzalez has the Goose scheme. We all know how that ended up.
Yeah, that's gonna be oh wow, look at the 4. Big moat for Harold Rother as he exits off at 2. And I think we're gonna see that all night. Just losing the rear end on these exits, no drive off for these drivers, and that's what Gaudio said. You gotta respect the throttle, respect the brakes. Richmond Raceway is a tough little cookie.
Yeah, it's really easy to get in too hot here and lose the rear end of the car, but especially off of the corner, just putting down too much throttle, trying to get that nice run off. And you've got to have so much wheel into it, especially out of turn 4 with the curbs front straightaway that we have here, that it's very easy to lose the rear end off of the corner. I saw a lot of guys in practice and even that open qualifying session having problems trying to get down a fast lap, putting in too much throttle and looping the car.
And man, up front, you can see from Harold Rother's point of view here in the Ford machine, Smirol all over the back of Anthony Gaudio as we go down into 1. He has definitely been hounding the back bumper of this 3. And Smirol's a driver who's in need of a good run. I mean, the dude was on fire in the midpoint of the season. Has had somewhat of a slump, I would say, here in the playoffs, even in the regular season. And just hasn't had the luck here in the playoffs to go along with it. Now running up in 2nd. Could tonight be the night he breaks back through, but I tell you what, that 3 is going to be a tough one to beat. But also David Edwards, fastest car on the long run at Bristol at that short track. Can he produce the same type of speed here tonight? He goes to the inside of Smirol down to 3. Smirol covers it off, drives it in there, showing his power, but he's going to have not the better drive off. Here can Edwards make it happen. Looks like he'll look to the outside here, down the front straightaway. Not going to be able to make it work, though, as Smirol trying to hold on to that 2nd spot. Knows if he gives that up, that takes away his chance at getting to the 3.
Well, also, David Edwards here not making very hard moves, just a lot of feints to force the 14 to really overdrive to try to cover off what he thinks is going to be an attempt at a pass here. And it's going to be burning up and putting a little bit of temperature into his front tires, and eventually that's going to start to pay off for the 15. And now looks like David Edwards kind of content to ride around here, but talked about Chris Smirol needing a good run. he does need a good run. He can be quite happy finishing in second place riding where he's at right now. But like you talked about earlier, he's got a chance to knock out somebody who's been one of his biggest competitors throughout this season. I mean, he's got to take it, and the same goes for David Edwards. David Edwards looking now to come out and win for the second time this round and take away somebody transferring like Gaudio. And again, another big competitor for David Edwards that he doesn't want to have to fight for a championship here, and this is a really good opportunity to take him out of contention.
Yeah, these guys are not letting Gaudio breathe though. I mean, if you think about it, Gaudio's got to know that. I mean, he's got to know that the three guys behind him, other than Walker there in that fifth position, of the four guys behind him, the three right there directly behind him, they are trying to knock him out of the playoffs. If he does not win this race and one of them three wins, they are going to have big smiles on their face that one of their main competition for this championship has been taken out.
And you could hear it in the interview that I had with Gaudio, just the focus that he had. Normally, he's a very upbeat, chatty type of guy, likes to joke around, but it was all serious business coming into the race here, really focused, knowing what he needed to do in full send mode, like he said. And really right now, he doesn't have to push that hard. I mean, if he just sticks it to the bottom like he has been, he doesn't need to try to go out here and gap him and put down, 2 seconds over the rest of the field. Hold your lane. Don't let them make you overdrive it. And if they're going to try to pass you, make sure that they do it the hard way going around the outside.
At the moment, still hanging on to the lead here. 14 laps through this here on lap 15. Smirol inching closer and closer on entry. He's doing what you would say a little bit of a higher line than turned down on exit, trying to get a little bit of front turn there in that race car. But at the same time, he could be tearing his tires up by turning back down the racetrack. But to see as we go on, I don't think they'll be able to make it on fuel either, Brandon. 80 laps is a long distance for a 65% fuel load at a track of this size.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the bigger concerns too. And we looked like we had somebody spin on the backstretch, but kept it going. Now they're just ahead of our leaders here. I have to see exactly who that was. Looks like the 94 of Potter, but it's the timing of this pit stop. If it stays green like it has been so far, that is going to be absolutely crucial, because the undercut is going to be huge at a short track like this. I mean, a couple tenths a lap when they're only running 22, almost 23 second lap times, a couple tenths a lap, just 2 laps or so on the guy that was only running about a tenth ahead of you, you're going to have a substantial gap that he's going to have to push really hard to try to get back. And the thing about the short track racing is it's not about huge gains every single lap. It's consistent, hundreds every lap, and just smooth, consistent laps, and a couple hundreds every single lap over the course of 10 laps. That's a huge gain on time.
You're exactly right, Brandon. The consistency is the key here, and you don't do it by tenths. If you go out there, push too hard, and gain too much time, you're going to be sitting in the same position as someone who had already burned their tires up earlier. So it really does come down to a consistency and a rhythm here at Richmond. Richmond is a very rhythm racetrack. An old big mistake as we talk about consistency and rhythm is Smirol, and he is putting a big block on David Edwards. This may not end up well for that 14 with that big of a block.
Yeah, I think Smirol realizing the position he's in, but David Edwards also realizing how early in the race it is. Somebody does that later on, we're going to see some contact with the left rear. They're not going to be taking that too kindly, but David Edwards saying, you know what, it's still pretty early. We really didn't lose that much time. Didn't cost me very much to let you go here. So go ahead and block me now, but that's the one you're going to get.
Yeah, and also David Edwards probably doesn't want to make an enemy of anybody either tonight. He's in a position of, he's just trying to go and get bonus points. If these guys go up and beat up on each other, as he's still going to race hard for this, but I don't think he wants to put himself in any spot to make anybody mad.
And that's exactly right. Now, I mean, that's something that these other guys have got to be thinking about too. Talking about Malarkey and his run-in with Gaudio. And he could go out here and pay a little bit back to Gaudio for their run-in at Bristol, but at the same time, he's going to be knocking Gaudio out, and Gaudio's got nothing to lose. If he goes out in the next round and gets into Malarkey, Malarkey stands a lot more to lose by getting taken out then. So just, you got to play it smart, but you just can't let yourself get run over at the same time, and can't let guys take advantage of you. And it's a really delicate balance to do that, because like you said, race car drivers don't forget. Anything you do, they're going to remember even into next season.
Oh, look at this shot we have here of the 15 machine. David Edwards, our points leader, all over the back bumper of the 14 of Christopher Schmerol. He's putting pressure on him. He's going to go searching here now. He has a little bit of a gap behind him with Justin Malarkey. Searches, runs up the racetrack. Look at this beautiful move there to get the drive off, the power off to the inside. I tell you what, David Edwards, guys, looking to be a short track ace here tonight.
Yeah, a really good setup for that pass too, and it absolutely helped that it looked like Smurl had just a little bit of a bobble, maybe caught the apron there on the exit of turn 2, had to step out of the gas for just a second. Now you see Smurl trying to do that crossover, but Edwards not going to open the door for him to do it. Edwards going to secure second place.
What a pass, hard to do for Edwards, but you know, Smurl fighting strong there. You know, the only thing I would say about that, you know, it's smart for Smurl to have, you know, a good hard run here with these guys. But if these guys race each other too hard, they're letting Gaudio get out here and pull away right now. You cannot let Gaudio get a gap. You have to knock him out. If I'm these two drivers just in position to still go into the playoffs, we need to slow each other down as least as possible and work together to get this 3 out. Sometimes, what did DW say? Co-opetition is the word?
I mean, and that's one of the biggest things too is, you know, you talk about tires, but tires, I think, at a short track is not your biggest weapon. Your biggest weapon is pressure, and allowing a guy to pull out this big of a gap, you're taking the pressure off of him. He's no longer going to have to worry about looking in his mirror here and just be really focused on hitting his marks and not worrying about, man, is this guy going to try to dive it? How hard do I need to go into the corner? He can go out here and run his pace, and now that he's got no pressure, he's going to be a lot smoother than these guys are and having to worry about each other, and he's starting to stretch that lead just a little bit, now up to 1.3 seconds.
Oh, you're exactly right about. Oh no! This is the leader, Gaudio and Bob Fitzpatrick Sr. They make contact off of 4. It's like Sr. trying to get out of the way, gets down into Gaudio, but he gathers it back up. But here comes the train behind him. Not too much damage on the 3, definitely some little bit of damage, but he has to regain his focus as, man, what a scare there with some lap traffic.
Yeah, that was almost heartbreaking, and that cost Gaudio a second. Now the gap 0.3 of a second to David Edwards. Like you said, not much damage, only a little bit of paint chipped off the nose of the 3, but that could have been absolutely disastrous for the 3. And Fitzpatrick now coming over the radio to try to figure out what happened there. Not exactly sure, but man, that was absolutely scary for a driver that's in a must-win position. But rebounding nicely, didn't let it rattle him, it looks like, as he's starting to pull his gap back out.
Yeah, he's starting to stretch it back out here. Man, cannot let that rattle you too much. And I was just about to say, his pace is very strong up front before that incident happened. And what you were alluding to about the pressure. When you have a gap behind you at a short track, it makes it immensely easier. You don't have to look in your mirror. You just drive your line, make sure you hit your marks, and that's the key to going faster on here. When you got somebody in your mirror, you're always having to look up to see if they're diving to your inside, because if they do a late maneuver, it can cause a very huge incident.
Yeah, you're always driving it in just a little bit harder when there's somebody in your bumper, just in case maybe they miss their brake marker, maybe they try a late dive like that, just to give yourself a little bit more of a security blanket to make sure that you don't get run over just by maybe a misjudgment by the driver behind you or a really late unadvised dive. But now, I mean, stretched it back out to 7/10 here, so it's a nice rebound for Gaudio after that scary incident. But you know, some of these guys at the back, we're looking at Richard Gonzalez now in his goose scheme, still hasn't goosed it just yet, running 10th.
Yeah, we need him to have a good run tonight to be able to have any chance to make it in there, as he is right below the cut line entering tonight. Richard Gonzalez was, but just not able to make up that gap yet. But he is racing the driver directly ahead of him in those points of Justin Hendry. But he's got to put a few cars in between them two if he wants to make up that gap. Also, though, James Wright, can't forget about him back in 11th. So it's definitely still up in the air for a few guys that they have some issues for Richard Gonzalez.
Yeah, I mean, between Richard Gonzalez all the way up to in 9th position in points to Matt Uprick in 6th, that is 9 points, I believe. Yeah, 9-point difference between those 4 drivers. And like you talked about, Hendry, that last driver in the cutoff, that 8th position in points, just ahead of Gonzalez. And again, like you said, needing to put some distance on him, gain some positions, put some cars between them. Gonzalez running the inside lane here, a bit preferred, but it seems like Hendry just able to carry a good run, but he's been flirting with that wall out of 2 the last couple laps, and it's allowed Gonzalez to get just a little bit farther ahead each and every time they come out of turn 2. And looks like Gonzalez not quite going to be able to take off that spot. A little bit of bobble as well. Had to step out of the throttle, open the door up for Hendry again to clear the 6.
These two know they're battling for the points. They've got that all in their mind. They've went through the scenarios, and right now Gonzalez has got to be pushing hard because we're nearing the halfway point. You want to be able to get ahead of this 28, and if we get any type of restart, you want to try to get ahead of Brian Fine, Stephen Carey, Harold Rother, a bunch of these guys. So Gonzalez right now is searching, trying to get on the 28, but just has not had a chance yet. When do pit stops come in the mind of these drivers? I'm unsure, but we'll have to see.
And I mean, I think once we see one driver in the front decide to come in, it's going to draw everybody else in. You cannot afford to stay out too long on the old tires. And I think if you're some of these guys at the back, you're going to try a pretty hefty undercut here. That advantage on the fresher tires is going to be pretty good. It's going to allow you to make up some ground on these guys that might stay out. But again, it's all down to the timing of when they come in. And if you are somebody like Justin Hendry, who's battling the driver that has to beat him at points, it's interesting to me that he's keeping ahead of him because he could be perfectly content riding behind him, knowing, hey, as long as I don't let him get too far away, there's nothing that he can do right here, albeit a caution or just off sequence on pit stops that'll allow him to gain the points over.
Yeah, because any incident, remember, no fast repairs here. If you have a major incident between you two, it could end up in some definitely interesting controversy there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if something happened here where Gonzalez just made a mistake and got into the 28 and cost him a lot of position here, that could be pretty controversial. I'm sure Hendry would not appreciate that whatsoever. So if I'm in the position of the 28, I'm going to take that out of the equation altogether and go ahead and just ride behind the guy that I have to battle.
I'll tell you what, it's shaped up here as we see Steven Racing there in a must-win position, also looking to win here tonight, going a lap down in that 14th position, but he's getting passed by Malarkey in the 73 machine, who is pressuring David Edwards. David Edwards is definitely starting to fall from that 15. He's lost any sort of pace in that thing. Is right now Gaudio really only has Smarol behind him, who's just over a second behind now. As we've passed halfway, it's going to look tough to beat that 3, but Smarol, the one trying to do it.
Well, and they're almost matching lap times, lap after lap. Last time by, Gaudio was about 700ths quicker, excuse me, and then the time before that, Smarol 200ths quicker. So just flopping back and forth just a little bit, as opposed to David Edwards, who was 2/10 off of the pace in the front 2 last time by.
Continuing through lap traffic are our leaders as we pace here on lap 45 of 80 here tonight at the Richmond Raceway at the Evolution Racing Link for the ARCA Evolution Series, the feeder to the RSR Cup Series that we head off to Richmond here at 9:20 Eastern later tonight. Do not miss that, as they have their cutoff race for the round of 12, as we're going to cut it down from 12 drivers here in this race and 12 drivers later tonight down to 8. So the 4 drivers going to be going home here tonight with no shot. But the battle for third continues on. Edwards and Malarkey having one well of a battle.
And again, we talked about how important qualifying was, but also managing your tires. I mean, when the tires get worn in like this, you can run the high side and find something. But trying to run the bottom and get that good drive off like Malarkey's content to do now, it's so difficult on even tires. And it seems like, even if they're not necessarily completely even, maybe Edwards is burning stuff up just a little bit more, being in that preferred groove. It makes all the difference here, just being that lead car. You can kind of control the openings available to the guy behind you trying to make that pass and make it very, very difficult. And so far, Edwards able to hold on pretty well despite some pretty aggressive charges from Malarkey.
Yeah, here we hop on board and see that view there for a second of what Malarkey was seeing behind him. But Gaudio here, you can see the lap car directly ahead of him of, yes, Matthew Dude, the 55. So that's an MR73 car there. How hard does he race? Gaudio. We'll have to see here. I think this will actually be a pretty good shot here. Oh, dude, they're going to get through. Oh, looks like he's going to check him up a little bit there. Now slide up the racetrack. That's going to let the 3 get by. Here comes dude back on the outside of the 55. Looks like he might stay there, but Gaudio pulls up in front, clears that 55 machine as they head down the 1. Looks like not much time there made up by the 14.
Yeah, a little bit of a checkup for Gaudio coming out of turn 2 just to make sure he did not have to go to the outside of the 55. Again, putting himself in a pretty dangerous spot. We obviously saw Matthew Dude wash up on the entry to turn 3. But just a lot of experience and heads-up driving there for the 3, realizing, hey, I'll give up a little bit of time here just to make sure that I'm not about to get wrecked going into turn 3. And for as much as he held him up there, it was just a little bit, but you would have thought that Matthew Dude reached out the window net and stuck a 42 on the side of that 55.
Well, man, I tell you what, yeah, definitely, you know, sometimes you help out your teammates a little bit. I don't think Dude was doing too much there, but I think the 3 was definitely worried about, you know, the possibility, like you said, of going around the outside there, him coming up into him. So he decided, you know, better yet, I'll just wait and turn down underneath you. And we are seeing a few guys hit pit road, I believe.
Richard Gonzalez hit pit road last lap, this time by James Wright, going to hit pit road, going to go a lap down right as he crossed the commitment line to pit road.
Well, this is crucial time here, Brandon. Now, when do you decide to pit is going to be very crucial because we're past halfway. So, you know, it's going to be hard to make up a lot of times if someone does an undercut and it works here. But if you pit now and the caution comes out during the sequence of guys taking tires and some guys on old tires out here, which is very common for a caution at a short track, that is when you could go multiple laps down under caution.
Oh, that's the tricky thing because a single lap could make the difference in having the speed at the end of the run and not having enough time. Ideally, you want to wait as long as possible to give yourself the freshest tires. You're able to push harder than anybody else and make use of those tires to the end of the race. But the longer you wait, the less time you are going to have to get back to the front. So we're going to have to wait and see. I think once these front guys, I'm betting that David Edwards is going to be the first of these guys to dip off pit road. And I think the very next lap, we're going to see Gaudio and then Smerol. They're going to know, hey, we cannot afford to let these guys get too many laps of an advantage on us.
And at the moment, none of them yet to pit up front. You know, what I'm thinking here is if you're Smerol, I think you got to stretch it here out. You know, make the 3 end up racing you. You know, and if you pit early here and try to undercut him, yeah, you're going for the win. The undercut could work. Oh, well, here comes Gaudio. This time he's getting on the apron, showing his intent to pit here as he comes down and pits here with 25 to go. He says no undercut for you. Now, does it stay green? That is the worry on the racetrack.
I think this, really played it into Gaudio's hands. If it stays green, this is perfect for him because he's going to undercut as the leader. So he's going to be stretching out even more of a lead for himself. But like you said, it's got to stay green. If he gets a caution here, gets trapped a lap down, that's almost going to be race over for the 3.
At the moment, 23 to go. Smerol, now your new leader out front. He's going to get some bonus points for leading the lap. This is interesting. You know, when does he pit? Does he try to stretch it long here, try to catch that caution? Because at the moment, it's going to be Gaudio a lap down. But here comes Smerol. This time, he's the first of the other 3 to pit. So he comes down this time here with 22 to go. A few extra laps compared to the number 3 of Gaudio. We'll have to see how far that gap is. But Edwards and Malarkey stay out.
I'm just going to say these drivers need to stop listening to the broadcast while they're racing. I called Edwards, then Smerol, then Gaudio, and they decided to flip it in reverse on me, make a fool out of me. So I'm going to need you guys to go ahead and mute the broadcast here while you're in the car, please and thank you. But strategy's underway here. Smerol going to be losing the position on Gaudio, going to have slightly fresher tires, but there is a car sideways on the apron in turn 2.
Oh, no, there is. And
Matthew Dude.
Matthew Dude, I'm surprised that has not brought a yellow out. That's blocking the exit pit road. Look, Smerol, he's going to have an issue. He's going to go around it. That's going to give him a penalty, guys.
That is big.
And there's the caution. Race control throws the caution. Caution is out on the racetrack. Gaudio, first car a lap down, so he will get the lucky dog. But Edwards, Malarkey, and Fine here. Wow, this is man, oh man. As I believe it all started there with the 55. A dude, he was stuck on that apron there, trying to get back. And man, oh man, I believe he had some contact and some help here as we go back on the freaky fast replay. You can see here, here's Steve Potter in a 94 going down into one and oh, just clipping the back bumper, sending him around. That's going to put him on the apron of this racetrack here after he slides down the racetrack. And you're going to have a few guys exiting pit road, and mostly his teammate of Smarol exiting. He has nowhere to go. He has to put his tires on the racing surface here. You'll see in a few moments, and that's going to definitely give him a black flag.
Well, I'm going to have to listen here and see if race control is going to clear that for him. If it's even a flag that they can clear due to the nature of him getting that penalty, trying to avoid a car that was stopped there. And unfortunately for Matthew Dude, I mean, he stayed put, tried to avoid bringing out the caution, but it was just the worst possible place that he could be. There was no opportunity for him to turn around without getting onto the racing surface.
Well, now this definitely throws an interesting curveball into the situation. Gaudio going to get the lucky dog, but remember, when you get the lucky dog, you are going to be at the tail end along this line. He's going to have to hope for a lot of guys taking the wave around here, which I think most will. But man, this is a interesting situation to be in. Now Edwards is going to be out front with Malarkey in second. They're going to have much fresher tires than the three Anthony Gaudio. And Gaudio, remember, he said he's not going to play Mr. Nice Guy in his interview after winning the pole. He might have to use that there, because it's going to be an uphill battle for that three.
Well, I mean, ideally you want to give him the bumper and just move him. You don't want to wreck him, but sometimes it does not work out that way. You just try to give a guy a little bit of a shot to move him up the racetrack, and it'll kick the back end around in a hurry. So we're going to have to see if he ends up having to use the bumper, which one of those results it is. But like you said, guys are going to remember what happens to him. If, you know, he goes out here and has to give the bumper to Edwards, Malarkey, or somebody like Chris Smarol to get back to the front to get this win, it could be disastrous for him come round of 8.
This has just got very, very spicy here at the Richmond Raceway. Thank you everybody for tuning in here tonight to Freaky Fast Broadcast. As remember, we need to get them subscriber numbers up. We're up to 948. Each time I look down and I see that number go up, it gives me a smile on my face. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, that bell button right beside it, so you can be notified every time we go live, and that like button so you can help us out with the YouTube algorithm, get us more known out there, get these drivers known, get this league more known. It's always a pleasure to bring this action here live on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But tonight here at Richmond with 16 to go, we've got a lot of drama as our race leader, it's turned upside down for him.
Yeah, this is extremely interesting. I think Gaudio is going to have to hope for a quick yellow here on the restart to get back ahead of some of these lap cars. He's going to have to start behind. I mean, he's last car on the lead lap, but tail end of the field here still got 16 cars that he is going to have to, or 15 cars, excuse me, that he's going to have to manage to get around in a very, very short amount of laps.
That's why we love what we see right now. This has definitely shook it all up. You know, it's got to be frustrating from his point of view, but from a broadcast point of view, it's going to be fun to watch his drive. As 15 to go, we're getting double file back up, but David Edwards, our leader, looks like he'll line up in about the 7th position. As it's going to be a delayed green here, as they're going to let the field get all lined back up.
Well, the good news is everybody that was a lap down, it looked like, took the wave. So they're all going to restart behind him. This is huge. This is a big break for Anthony Gaudio. Not going to have to worry about the lap cars unless they wave him by.
Well, I believe he will have to drop back here, even Brandon.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, because I think they delayed it. I think that's what it is.
It's just, he cannot. The amount of bad luck that has happened in the last 10 laps for the 3 is just astounding.
Yeah, we gotta wonder also, you know, is Smarol, like, did he get a penalty? I don't know. I don't know if he pleaded his case or if he didn't get a penalty. I mean, we got some interesting situations here. We'll have to see, but we're about to go back green flag racing here as the pace car is going to look to pull in this time. David Edwards already locked himself in. Our race leader, he's going back green flag racing. Great start for him. Brian Fine's going to pull up beside Malarkey here, down into 1. But our field's going to be very spread out as a lot of field taking the wave around.
James.
Oh, Malarkey.
Getting.
What is going on?
It's
Malarkey
raining in turn 1.
Major moment from Malarkey, knocking the right front off. He does not need this either, guys. If Gaudio goes out here and wins, he is in jeopardy of going out of this race.
Oh man, yeah. It looks like the front toe of the 73 seems to be pretty knocked off here.
This is all shooken out very weird here in the last few moments of this race. Gaudio still in that 9th position, 6.4 seconds back from the lead. So he's way out of position here with 11 to go. He's going to look up the inside of Malarkey back here. But right now, David Edwards, he's got Brian Fine in his mirror. That's the next driver. Stephen Carey back in 3rd. Matt Upbrook in 4th. Looks like Christopher Smerol driving his way up through to 5th. It's definitely shaking out very weird here with 10 to go. But at the moment, Edwards with a win already in his back pocket, looking to get more bonus points.
I've been watching Anthony Gaudio just slice through the field here. Had a bit of a hiccup on the initial start. Had a car roll to his outside, not get going on the drop of the green flag. Got the black flag for passing underneath the car on the initial start. Admins went ahead and waved that for him. But a lot of ground that he's going to need to make up, and it's single filed out at the front. Nobody really racing each other. Certainly not our leader, David Edwards. So he's going to be having clean track here, not have to get slowed down battling with anybody, and that's going to hurt Gaudio even more. Gaudio needing a caution here very quickly.
Oh man, and here goes Bob Fitzpatrick Sr. It's going to be 3 wide here. Oh, there's going to be contact. And oh, Matthew Dude, it breaks some front in there. Contact between the 14 and the 3 here with 8 to go. We stay green. Looks like he'll slide up in front of the 3, but no contact there as they exit off of 2. He'll be up into position here now, 6th, behind Christopher Smerol and Justin Higgins. Oh!
And Fitzpatrick just did not take kindly to that little bit of contact with Gaudio and just sent him.
I am speechless here, ladies and gentlemen. 7 to go. We have had tempers flare here at the Richmond Raceway as Fitzpatrick Sr. getting into the back of the 3 of Anthony Gaudio here.
I understand being mad with somebody for a little bit of contact, but you can't do that. You got to understand the position the guy's in. You cannot do that.
And there you see it, ladies and gentlemen. They're live on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Very, very wild finish to tonight's race. 6 to go still. Gaudio, though, his playoff dreams are gone up in smoke. Led majority of this race, pitted. Caution would come out there. And man, what a terrible end for him.
Yeah, that's really heartbreaking for Gaudio. Man, almost gets taken out and has a run-in with the 48 while he was the leader. A little bit of contact there, just 3 wide race and trying to get to the front, navigating some slower cars, some lap cars, and then for that lap car to just take you out, that's really heartbreaking.
Yeah, you know, I gotta wonder if, you know, that's something from earlier too, because I know they made contact earlier when the 3 was coming by the 14. So I'm not sure if, you know, what led to that. I'm sure there's more to the madness than we know up here in the booth. But man, that is a heartbreaking end for the 3 is how fast he was. But man, that's sometimes the way the cookie crumbles here in racing. And he's gonna have to move on to next season with bigger hopes that he does not get caught up in anything.
Yeah, I mean the best thing that he can take away from this is just how fast he is, and absolutely going to be a shoe-in for next season's championship, without a doubt. definitely going to be up there contending and hopefully able to make a lot more races. Got to remember, he also came into this season not at the start of it, so able to get to the position he was at without making the full season. So, I mean, it's only upward from here, but I got to applaud Gaudio. Hasn't come over the radio and said anything, and just keeping it to himself right now, despite how frustrated he must be.
Well, with 3 here, it looks like we'll be getting ready to go back. Oh, sorry, actually, never mind. I thought the pace car lights were going to turn off this time. I felt like this caution's... It's been somewhat of a longer caution here, I believe.
Yeah, turning extra laps here, just kind of ticking them off. I'm sure Brian Fine doesn't want to see that. Stephen Carey, last week's winner.
Yeah.
Up here in the 3rd place after running back just outside the top 5 for a majority of the race. So he's looking to maybe come up here and steal another one away from David Edwards.
Look at Christopher Smerol trying to rebound. This gives him a chance, maybe a top 3 chance for that number 14 machine. Got Upbrook there in 4th also. I mean, a lot of good chances here. Harold Rothery, you know, he's been right there in about 6th, 5th all night, so good run for him. Malarkey, after that major contact with the wall, going to hang on to. Looks like 7th. That's about all he needs to do anyways. But, man, we'll see how this green flag restart goes. It's going to be our first green-white checkered attempt of 2 here tonight. So we're going to have 2 to go.
Well, I've also got to point out, Zach, Richard Gonzalez got the lucky dog this caution. Now, last car on the lead lap, Justin Hendry, still a lap down in 12th. This opens up the door for Gonzalez to make up a lot of positions on the 28. He may just be able to point his way in.
Can Gonzalez in the 6th machine point his way in? We'll have to see. Pace car is in this time, and David Edwards off and away as we got the green flag out. David Edwards going to put a nice gap between him and the 98 of Brian Fine, but you can see back here, we're looking with 2 to go. The battle, the 2 sliding around. Steven
no.
Mason.
Oh, that was close.
Very close, but we're going to go back to another green-white checker.
Ooh. That was very, very close for them sneaking by. Just a little bit of an overcorrection there for the 2. Had it saved down to the bottom of the track. Caught the flat on the apron there, and it just hooked to the right.
We'll be under green-white checker number 2, but, man, we'll have to see exactly what happened there with the 2 machine. I have to believe he just went around there and won, losing the rear end. As that'll bring out another caution here tonight. Brought to you by Or Nissan Central. And going down into 1. Loses the rear end. And just gonna, just an unfortunate. That's a very common syndrome we see here at the Richmond Raceway brand down in the 1. Very easy to lose that rear as you go around.
Oh, it's incredibly easy, especially, you know, a lot of guys will dial in some rear brake, help the car turn. But if you just carry too much speed, it really doesn't matter how much you've got the brakes to the front of the rear. If you carry too much speed into the corner, the rear end just loses grip and it'll slide around in a hurry, especially these ARCA cars. Kind of have that lazy spin where the weight transfers really slow to the right side as you load up, and around you go.
So we'll have another restart here to end tonight's race. David Edwards, though, solid on that restart there. He did not want to see that as he was in position to get another victory here in the round of 12. I mean, he's just racking them up here in the playoffs and late in the season. I mean, this guy only had 1 leading up to the last few races of the final the regular season, and he's just been on a roll. You know, since the playoffs started, right before the playoffs. Also, I mean, David Edwards hitting his best part of the season at the most important time.
Absolutely, and you know, it was something we talked about. He was points leader for a majority of the season, just letting it slip away there at the tail end of the regular season, but coming on strong in the playoffs, looking to get another win here. And I mean, he knows he's only got to do this restart one more time. If he gets another good restart, able to clear the 98 on his outside, gonna be smooth sailing unless the 98 gets a decent run and might give him a little bit of a shot in the bumper in the closing lap here. But we'll have to see. If he can nail the restart, it's smooth sailing. But if these guys have figured out his timing, he's going to have his hands full for sure.
And Richard Gonzalez also in the 6. I mean, you know, what does he have for this chance to get into the next round? I mean, with Hendry being in that 12th position, I mean, he could still technically lose one position to Gaudio. Gaudio's car is very hurt, but if Hendry messes up, has a mistake, gets caught up in something here, he drops back a few more, at least one more spot, and Gonzalez can push himself up the leaderboard a few more positions. He's in there.
Yeah, and especially now considering Steve Potter's gotten the waiver round, it's only allowing Hendry to gain only one more position. He can only go to 11th. So helping Gonzalez, that's one less point that he has to worry about. And if he can get up here, get a good charge, one of these guys have a bit of a hiccup on the restart, he can make something happen. Might just be able to crack into the top 5, especially if it's the white flag lap and some of these guys ahead of him get to racing really hard. If he can avoid it, that's free positions, free points. Might make all the difference.
It very well could. Here as the pace car lights go out for our final green light checking attempt here tonight for the Folds of Honor fight to survive 80 here from the Richmond Raceway cutoff race for the round of 12 here for the ARCA Evolution Series. Do not miss it, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a wild finish to the end. It's going to set up our next round where it gets down to business. Pace car is in. Edwards leads us to green. He takes off and away. Great start for him. He's going to pull a whole car length ahead. Look at Upbrook, though, teammate with Edwards. Great start for him. That's going to push him up in second here as they'll be coming to 2 to go. White flag next time by. Fine going to cross over on Upbrook, go to the inside down the back straightaway.
And behind them, Gonzalez able to pass Malarkey to move up to the 7th position. These guys, they're battling pretty hard. Edwards now coming across to take the white flag. 1 lap to go.
Oh, it looks like Smirol and Rothery, a little bit of contact. White flag in the air. One more time for the 15 of David Edwards. Here comes Brian Fine, though. Great move for him, but he's going to lose the rear off the exit. Here comes Stephen Carey, last week's winner from Kansas. He's going to go down the corner. A slight touch to the door of the 16 elbow, but out of 4. Your race winner, David Edwards here at the Richmond Raceway, as that is... Oh man, we got a Harold Rothery going up in smoke there between him and Smirol, battling for 5th and 6th. Looks like Smirol going to take home that 5th position. Rothery 6th, Carey 4th, Upbrook 3rd, and Brian Fine in the 2nd position. What a race finish there. Steven Rasick also getting back on the lead lap. Great for him. Richard Gonzalez 7th. It's going to be close. 7th to 12th. I mean, I got to look at the points again there. That's going to be very, very close.
Yeah, gonna have to wait for final tallies from the race admins here and figure out where these guys slot in. But one thing we know for sure, David Edwards absolutely advancing to the round of 8.
As he celebrates on the front straightaway here at the Richmond Raceway, Edwards 2 wins in the round of 12, sailing on to the round of 8, looking to possibly put himself in the round of 4 next week. We'll have to see. But, man, this guy is on a roll. We will be back in a few moments, everybody, as he celebrates on the front straightaway as we get our top 3 finishers and get them lined up for their interviews. All right, we are back here, everybody, for our top 3 interviews tonight. As Matt Upbrook is our first driver here in the 3rd position in the 16 machine. Going to move on to the round of 8 in the 16. Let's hear from him. Hey, Matt, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yes, sir.
Well, Matt, great run there, man, to bring home a top 3 finish with your teammate bringing home the victory, man. Great night here at Richmond for yourself to push yourself into the next round, man. How does that sound to move on to the round of 8?
Yeah, I'm happy this round's over with and ready to move on to the next. This race was fun, a lot of good racing. I'm sweating a little bit, but overall it was good. It's good for the team. I'm hoping that that Richard makes it in.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be very close between Richard Gonzalez there and Justin Hendry. So we'll have to see once the final tally comes through on that. So possibly 3 of your drivers moving on there, my friend. But man, what a night though for you here to get 3rd. And you know, next round here, starting off, we got Atlanta, Pocono, and Dover. Of those 3 races, where do you feel like your strong suit's going to be, Matt? And where do you go feel like you could possibly go through there and maybe move yourself onto the round by getting a win?
Pocono and Dover both are 2 of my favorite tracks, so hopefully I'll be good there. I look to be good there. We'll see. Our team's running pretty strong right now, so look forward to it.
Yeah, you guys definitely are firing on all cylinders at the moment, man. But congrats on 3rd here tonight, Matt, and congrats on moving on to the round of 8. Before we let you go, though, man, anybody wants to shout to?
Yep. Wanted to give a shout out to my dad and mom down in Texas. They're watching every week, so that's awesome. Shout out to my teammates. Congrats to David on the win. Shout out to all my teammates, GT and Michael and Curtis for spotting for me every week, and Richard too. But I enjoyed it. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.
That we will, Matt. Congrats on going on to the next round, man, and we will catch you at Atlanta.
Thank you.
All right, that was Matt Upbrook in the 16 machine. Going on to the round of 8, as we'll move on to our 2nd place man, Brian Fine. I mean, this guy was battling back near the 8th and 7th position earlier in the night, qualified 12th, and really had a great night here to pull off some strategy and get up to 2nd. So let's hear from Brian Fine. Hey, Brian, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Got you loud and clear. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you loud and clear too, buddy. I tell you what, man, another fantastic finish for you here in the round of 12 to push yourself on to the round of 8, man. You were in a pretty good position entering tonight, 3 points back from that, you know, or 3 points down from the leading points there. So you're looking very good entering tonight. But man, you ran right around that that 8th to 7th position most of the night, and then catching yourself there to get that right position in the last moment of the race with the strategy, and it would bring home a 2nd place position, man. How does that feel to come out of here with 2nd tonight and move on to the round of 8?
Feels pretty good tonight, especially over the weekend. My current set of pedals are getting ready to go out, so I was just trying to baby it as much as possible. Just baby the car, stay out of everybody's way. Man, it just worked out great tonight. I felt fast. I know I'm okay here at Richmond. Just wanted to stay out of the way. Just it worked in my favor tonight. So hey, good thing going on. Momentum.
Definitely some big mo for you right now, Brian. As we head off into that round of 8, man, you got Atlanta, Pocono, and Dover. Any of those 3 tracks that pop up in your mind that you got circled?
All 3 of them. I'm not the greatest at the tracks, but we'll get it figured out. We got momentum on our side. It's gonna work out. So we'll keep pressing. We'll keep pushing forward. These top 5s are gonna get us into top 4 going into championship round.
Well, man, if you keep this momentum up, it will push you on into that championship round, Brian. So congrats on another great finish here tonight at the Richmond Raceway, man, and getting on to that round of 8. Before we let you go, though, anybody wants to shout to?
Shout out to my girlfriend, Rachel, biggest supporter. Shout out to my guys here at F5, Justin. We're trying to get him into the next round. Shout out to everybody here. You guys up in the broadcast booth. You guys do an excellent job. And last but not least, shout out to David Edwards from his Ryan Newman.
Hey man, that's very true. You're always right doing that. I just remembered that. So great stuff, Brian. Congrats on a second year tonight, man, and we'll catch you next week, buddy.
All right, guys, thanks.
All right, guys, that was Brian Fine in the second place position. Is Ryan Newman there in second? That definitely had to have David Edwards shaking a little bit to see Ryan Newman there right behind him. So let's hear from our Sheffield Graphics race winner, David Edwards in the 15 machine. But already locked himself in at Bristol at the opening round of round of 12. But why not get 2 wins in this round? Hey, David and Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
10-4, I got you, Zach.
Well, buddy, I tell you what, man, a great win here tonight to get that second win of this round. And, really the big thing I would say coming in here tonight, you had the 3-car of Anthony Gaudio outside of the cut line. He looked really, really strong here tonight with the lead there. Didn't work out with him strategy-wise. You're able to beat him and keep him out of the playoffs. How big do you feel like this win is to keep someone like the 3 out of the next round?
I hate it for Anthony. Him and Chris have been pretty much the class of the field all season. But, selfishly, it's nice to not have to worry about him for the next 2 rounds because he is a contender week in and week out. I hate it for him, but in the same sense, selfishly, it's a good thing to have him out.
Yeah, it's definitely going to help your causes for a championship, man. But nonetheless, 5 wins now this season to your name, man. You've been on a roll. Tonight, very, very strong. But I feel like, definitely the strategy worked into your hands there. By stretching it longer there, we knew you guys weren't going to be able to make it on fuel, but we knew you guys could go a good distance still. You stretched it long there and caught that caution. Was that kind of the mind game going there, or, kind of play us through how you picked that strategy out?
Yeah, having the win already in this round, I had nothing to lose. I think we were about 5 to 6 laps short. So I was going to stretch it and play it out, and just hope to happen what did with the catching the caution there after everybody had pitted. I know it hurt my teammates too, but I had the option to risk it a little bit because I was already locked in. But for sure, I was not the fastest car. Did not win tonight. Anthony and Chris were in a league of their own, and Justin was right up there too. We were all me and Justin, I think, ran nose to tail for over 3/4 of the race, but just struggled all night, man. I never felt comfortable. Even when the car unloaded, it just wasn't right. So I was happy hanging on for a third, and just strategy played out and got a little luck and put it in victory lane tonight.
Hey, man, that's sometimes how it plays out here in the racing game. And you definitely did the right strategy tonight to put yourself out in front in that 15 machine. So congrats on that 5th win, man. Now heading off into the round of 8, you got Atlanta, Pocono, and Dover. Ask the other 2 drivers who made it through. If your teammate Matt and Brian there, any of those 3 tracks that kind of, you got circled heading up.
No, I like to think I'm just consistently decent at everything, and I can pick it up. I like Atlanta. I like the tire wear, the speed, and a little bit. It's a driver's track. Pocono's fun because it's 3 different turns, and then where's the third? Where's the last we're going?
Dover.
Dover, and then Dover. Dover's Dover. High bank, short, essentially races like a short track. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun 3 weeks of racing, man. Then to head it all off at Homestead. But, man, if you keep up this momentum, we will definitely be seeing that 15 there at Homestead, with especially with this momentum you got going and consistency, man. So, congrats on the win here again tonight, getting that 5th win. Before we let you get out of here, man, and celebrate this victory, anybody you want to send a shout out to?
First and foremost, my wife for letting me do this on Tuesday nights. Ryan for putting this league on and giving us a place to race on Tuesdays. You guys for covering it week in and week out. Like I said, love the family and friends are always texting me about 7:30, 7:25 saying, hey, share the link. They want to get on there and watch. Everybody over at SJR and Donkey Punch just putting in the work. We put in a couple practice sessions this week to hopefully try to get everybody better. And just congrats to Matt on the 3rd. And we're all kind of crossing our fingers here that Richard pointed himself into the round of 8, so it'd be nice to have all 3 Donkey Punch cars going into the round of 8, and we'll see what we can do next week at Atlanta.
Man, it'll be fun to see you guys in Atlanta next week. Maybe Richard, maybe then we'll have to see on that too, account back here. But man, what a great night for your team and yourself. We'll catch you in Atlanta, buddy. You have a great night though, David.
All right, thanks guys. You too.
All right, everybody. That was David Edwards, your Sheffield Graphics race winner here tonight from the Richmond Raceway. What a night we've had of racing here, and it's only the first half of racing. But let's go ahead and bring our results up. As you can see there, David Edwards, your Sheffield Graphics race winner. Brian Fine able to bring home that second position there in the 98 machine. Third is going to go to Matt Upbrook in the 16. Fourth is going to be Stephen Carey. Chris Morrell is going to bounce back for a fifth position. Sixth is going to be Harold Rothery. Seventh is going to be Richard Gonzalez trying to squeak his way into the next round. Eighth is going to be Stephen Rasick. Ninth is going to be Justin Malarkey. Rounding out your top 10 is going to be Steve Potter with Jake Shea in the 11th position. 12th is going to be Justin Hendry. He's hoping to squeak his way in over Richard Gonzalez. 13th, after dominating the early portion of the night, going to miss the next round, is Anthony Gaudio. Just a heartbreaking night for that 3 in the 13th position. 14th is going to go to James Wright. 15th is going to go to Bob Fitzpatrick Sr. And rounding out your field in his 16th position is going to be Matthew Dude. As that is your race results here tonight for the ARCA Evolution Series here at the Richmond Raceway. The cutoff race for the round of 12. And what type of racing did we see here tonight, Brandon? I can't even explain it to the fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's that was typical short track racing and short track tempers we saw. Unfortunately, coming out on the wrong end of it was Anthony Gaudio after really a tremendous season, but gonna have nothing to lose now, going out for wins, and we know how fast the 3 is. We're gonna really see how fast he is when he doesn't have to worry about having a bad race. But as far as points go, I just did some rough math here while we were talking to our top 3 drivers, and Richard Gonzalez came in 6 points back from Justin Hendry and 8 points back from James Wright. Justin Hendry finished 5 points back from Richard Gonzalez, and James Wright 7 points back from Richard Gonzalez. So I think, barring any special points situation that I'm not aware of, any bonus points that Gonzalez may have got, I believe he's going to miss out on both of those drivers by just a single point.
Oh, man, that's going to be so unfortunate if that's the way it plays out for Richard Gonzalez, and it's going to be great for James Wright and Hendry, who are going to squeak in through a tough finish here tonight at Richmond. But, man, that's sometimes how the playoffs play out. We'll have to see officially next week how that all shakes out. But thank you again, everybody, for tuning in here tonight, Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Remember, at 9:20 Eastern, we have the RSR Cup Series. They take on the Richmond Raceway for their cutoff race tonight. So, man, we got a lot of we see a little bit of drama already. I'm sure we got much more in store for you later here tonight, so do not miss out on the wild racing action we had here tonight at the Richmond Raceway. But before we go, everybody, let's send it up to our producer, Robert Moore Jr., to close out tonight's broadcast.
Whew. All right. Well, wow. What a way to end the round of 12, guys. Wow. I mean, we know short track racing. We know short track tempers can flare. Well, it flared. So let's make sure you tune in next week, and let's see if, like they said, if Anthony can go out and just dominate. Just go out and win some races. I mean, why not? I mean, got nothing else to run for now, except for take wins away from everybody else and put them in a win scenario, and see how that all plays out as we get ready, getting ready to, end the season, guys. It's been a long season for a lot of these drivers, and we're getting down to the nitty gritty. So make sure next week at 7:20 you don't miss the ARCA Evolution at 7:20 next week. But like Zach said, ladies and gentlemen, we will be live right here very shortly at 9:20 as they're going to bring the cup cars out here at Richmond, as we got a couple drivers that it's the same situation. They got to win. There's no whole bars. There's no nothing. They got to win. So we're going to have stages in that strategy too coming up. So, they got to play the stage. We seen what happened last week with Hunter, how he played the stages and it backfired on him, which now puts him in to a win situation here tonight at Richmond that he says is a pretty good track for him. And there is other drivers that need to win to advance to the next round. So make sure you tune in at 9:20 here as we take a break here real quick, and then, like I said, we'll be live at 9:20. But all right, well, everybody have a great night, and we'll catch you at 9:20. But until then, we want to say God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.